Hi, grade 3. Gonna try something a little different this time. Instead of watching me read the story and then I show you the pictures, I'm gonna do a slideshow of the pictures while you listen to me read. Hopefully, that'll be a little bit more exciting than watching me read aloud. Are you ready to go? We're gonna finish up, fortunately, the milk today, so stick with me. I think it's gonna be kind of fun and a little bit crazy. Here we go. Would you like to press the button? Said Professor Stagg. I pressed the red button. There was an ear-popping noise and a flicker of years, and I was floating in a balloon basket above the intersection of Marshall Road and Fletcher Lane. I could see our house from above. I could see the bicycles in the back garden. I could see the rabbit hutch. We're here, I said, and I patted Professor Stagg on the back ridge plates. Oh, it was very nice having you travel in company, said the professor, because there was a familiar thrum, thrum noise, and before I had a chance to press the red button, we were deposited, balloon and all, on the enormous metal deck of a flying saucer with a number of very grumpy, green, globby people staring at us with too many eyes. They did not look pleased. Ha ha! Said several globby people at the same time. You thought you had escaped us, and you were wrong. Now you must sign the planet over to us so that we can remodel it. We will take out all the trees for a start, and put in plastic flamingos. But why? Oh, we like plastic flamingos. We think they are the highest and finest art form that Earth has achieved, and they are tidier than trees. Also, we're going to replace the clouds with scented candles. We like scented candles too, explained a huge green globby person who looked like he was mostly made of snot. We also like decorative plates, said another. We will put a decorative plate up where the moon is now, a really big decorative plate showing all the landmarks of the world. And we will replace all of the landmarks of the world with decorative plates with pictures of landmarks on them too. So the Eiffel Tower will be replaced by a large plate with a picture of the Eiffel Tower on it. And Australia will be replaced by a huge, seriously big plate with Australia on it. Also, we will replace all of your mountains with throw cushions, said the smallest, globbiest thing of all, with triumph in his gluttonous voice. We have learned a lot from our previous meeting, said some globs that were sticking to a wall. If you look over there, you will see that the door to the space-time continuum you used to escape through last time is now securely locked. It was definitely locked. It had a huge padlock on it and a sign saying, "Keep out," on it in unfriendly red letters. There were also chains around it and tape that said, "Do not cross," and a handwritten notice that said, "For your convenience, please use another door." Escape was impossible. Also, we have depowered your time machine. I looked at the professor. His armored back flaps were drooping. His tail was, well, not actually between his legs because stegosauruses aren't made that way, but if they were, it would have been. We have been tracking your movements through time and space, said a large globby alien in front of a console with a screen on it. Now, see what happens when I press this Grundledorfer, said a particularly drippy alien. It was half sticking to the wall next to a large, shiny, black button. It's called a button, I said. Oh, nonsense. We named it after our brood ant, Nessie Grundledorfer, said the globby aliens. The particularly drippy alien pressed the black button on the metal wall with something that might have been a finger and might just have been a really long strand of snot. There was a crackle. There was a fizz. And then standing all around us in attitudes of anger and irritation were several pirates, some of the black-haired people from the jungle, a very, very unhappy-looking volcano god, a large bowl filled with piranhas, and some vampires. I'm not sure what the piranhas are doing, said my sister. Ah, They were from a narrow escape earlier that I forgot to mention, said our father. Fortunately, the milk floated at a crucial moment, and it all ended for the best. I thought it might, I said. Uh-oh, I said. Prepare to be keel-hauled, you scurvy dogs, shouted the pirates. Let us now sacrifice them both to Great Splod, shouted the man with the shiny black hair. They stole my eye twice, rumbled mighty Splod. We want those villains and varmints violently wound up, proclaimed a tall lady wumpire with long fingernails. The piranhas, well, they said nothing, but they thrashed about their bowl ominously. Doomed, moaned Professor Stagg. We cannot escape. They have frozen us in time, depowered us. Even my mighty time machine can do no more than open a small window in time and space, smaller than either of us could get through. Ah, but can you do it? I asked. Open a little window in time to our last location? Of course, but what good would it do? Quickly, quickly, I said, do it! Professor Stagg pushed the button on the box with the tip of his nose. There was a zoom and a plop, and a window opened in space and time large enough for my arm to get through. I reached into it. I'll explain later, I said. Fate of the world at stake. I grabbed the milk from me 15 minutes earlier through the tiny space and time. You must like milk a lot, said the globby aliens. But that craving for lactic liquids will not make us take pity on you or let you go and spare your badly designed planet. Well, it should, I said. What am I holding in my left hand? The milk, they said. And what am I holding in my right hand? They paused. Then one alien, so green and small, so globby and crusted that he might have been an enormous snot bubble blown by an elephant with a terrible head cold. The same milk from 15 minutes earlier? Exactly, I said. Now, think about this one very carefully. What would happen if I touched these two things together? The globby aliens went a very pale green. The pirates, shiny black-haired men, the piranhas, all looked at them puzzled, seeking some kind of explanation, as did the wumpires. If two things that are the same thing touch, proclaimed the volcano god, then the whole universe shall end. Thus saith the great unutterable Splod. How does a volcano know so much about trans-temporal metascience? Asked one of the pale green aliens. Being a geological formation gives you a lot of time to think. Also, I subscribe to a number of learned journals. I coughed, in what I hoped was an ominous sort of way. Well, I asked. What he said, admitted the green globby alien. The bit about the universe ending. So, I said, unless you wish to spend the rest of your lives in a universe that no longer exists, you had better return things to the way they were, and then go away. The aliens looked at each other, they grinned at each other, and then one of them pressed the Grundledorfer. The wumpires, pirates, piranhas, volcano god, worshippers of the volcano god were gone. What if, suggested one of the great green globby aliens hopefully, we only redecorate the southern hemisphere? Not a chance, I said. Now release us, or the milk touches itself. And then go away and leave this planet forever. The aliens looked at me, then they looked at each other, and then they sighed, with a noise like 100 elephantine snot balloons all deflating at once. All right, they said. It was at that moment that a voice, louder than anything I have ever heard, and I had actually heard a volcano erupt at very close range, said, Galactic Police, Do not move. Well, my hand shook, but the milk did not touch the milk, and the universe did not end. There were red and blue flashing lights, and then, stepping off their space bikes, were about a half a dozen uniformed dinosaurs holding unmistakably large and extremely serious looking weapons. They pointed these weapons at the green globby aliens. You are charged with breaking into people's planets and redecorating them, said a notable and imposing looking Tyrannosaurus Rex. And then with running away and doing it again elsewhere, over and over. You have committed serious crimes against the inhabitants of 18 planets and crimes against good taste. What we did to Regal 4 was art, argued a globby alien. Art! There were people on Rigel 4, said an Ankylosaurus, who have to look up every night at the moon with 3 huge plastic ducks flying across it. Something very long, with a head on the end of it, came over to us. It was attached to a very large body on the other side of the room. Who are you? It asked Professor Stagg. And why is your gorilla holding a trans-temporally dislocated milk container? Hey! I'm not a gorilla, I said. I'm a human father. The human is holding milk. The human is holding milk in order to make these evil redecorating snot bubbles go away and stop menacing this planet and us, said Professor Stagg. The Diplodocus, in a police cap, opened its mouth and didn't say anything. The Tyrannosaurus, who had handcuffed all of the green globby people together with something that looked a lot more like pink string in a can than it looked like handcuffs, which was a good thing because they probably didn't have hands and they definitely didn't have wrists, stared at us with his eyes open wide. Great day in the morning, he exclaimed. A biped, a stegosaurus, a floaty ball person, and... He stopped, as if unable to carry on. A pterodon flapped over us, then landed at Professor Stegg's feet. It looked up at him and said hesitantly, Could you be the inventor of Professor Stegg's pointy zooming into outer space machine? Of Professor Stegg's really good moves around in time machine? Would you be the author of my travels into the extremely far future and what I found there? Professor Stegg, wisest of all dinosaur kind, madam. Is it truly you? It is, said the professor. Madam? I thought, embarrassed. And this is my assistant. The pterodon extended a wingtip for me to shake, and without thinking, I moved the second milk. I moved the second milk from my right hand to my left, where the first milk was, and everybody gasped. Fortunately, the milk that had been my right hand, which was the same as the milk that was already in my left hand, the same milk 15 minutes apart, touched each other. I held my breath. There was a fizzing noise, and a mewing, as if 100 cats were being agitated in an enormous basket. Professor Stegg closed his eyes. I can't look, she said. 3 purple dwarfs with flower pots on their heads appeared from nowhere and began to do a little dance. Did the universe end? Said the Tyrannosaurus with his eyes tightly scrunched shut. Look, I said, and we all watched the dwarves dance. They weren't humans, and they weren't dinosaurs. They had purple skin, and the flower pots on their heads had lots of flowers growing out of them. They did a complicated sort of dance with lots of leg kicking and shouts of oi and ole and perdon. And then, as strangely as they come, they vanished. Ah, said Professor Stegg. It was always a possibility that this might happen, and fortunately, the universe has not ended. She pressed the button again with her tail. A small hole in space and time opened up. I was standing on the other side with a baffled expression on my face. Catch! I shouted and threw the milk through the hole. As the portal closed, I saw me catch the milk using my stomach. The green globby aliens having been rounded up and taken away, all the space dinosaurs gathered around it. I can't believe it, the Diplodocus said. Professor Stagg, just like in the comics, the dinosaur who taught us that in the far future small mammals will eat their breakfast cereal with milk on it. Inventor of the button. She is here in front of us with her gorilla. Not a gorilla, but a human father, said Professor Stagg. And all the other dinosaurs gasped and said things like, oh, how wise she is, and what a brain, and how can you tell the difference between that creature and a gorilla? Is it the shoes? Professor Stagg said, this human father has been my companion on a strange journey into the future. Now, before I take my leave of him and come with you, oh space dinosaurs, we should sing to him one of the old great dinosaur songs. They sang to me a song in 6-part harmony, How Do You Feel This Morning When You Know What You Did Last Night? Then they sang me a song called Don't Go Down to the Tar Pits, Dear, Because I'm Getting Stuck on You. The Space Police dinosaurs sang me a song about being space police and saving people all over the universe and driving very fast space bikes. And then they all sang a song called I've Got a Loverly Bunch of Hard, Hairy, Wet, White Crunchers, which was an ancient dinosaur song that had apparently been written by Professor Stagg's aunt, Button. There is nothing in the whole of creation as beautiful as dinosaurs singing in harmony. Now, said Professor Stagg, I shall go off in my floaty ball person carrier with my newfound dinosaur space friends, and I shall explore the universe, and then I shall return to my own time, and I will write a book about it. You actually write several books, said the Diplodocus. Professor Stagg's Guide to Everything in the Whole of the Future was my favorite. It's very inspirational. I said goodbye to all the dinosaurs. I thanked Professor Stagg for saving my life. Oh, not at all, she said. We were both fortunately that you had that milk with you. It is not every container of milk that saves the world after all. Well, that was, me that saved the world, not the milk. The space dinosaurs all had their pictures taken holding the milk and smiling at the camera. What are you going to do with the milk? They asked. Are you going to put it in a museum? No, I'm not, I said. I'm going to give it to my children for their breakfast cereal, and possibly I will pour some in my tea. Professor Stagg nipped back up the rope ladder, climbed into the gondola of the balloon. The last I saw of any of them, actually. The whole inside of the saucer was fading into light so bright I had to close my eyes and look away. And then I was standing at the back door of our house, none of the worse for wear. Fortunately, the dinosaurs had given me back the milk after they had their photos taken with it. So I came in, and here I am. So, that was what my dad said. I looked at my sister, and my sister looked at me. Then we both looked around the kitchen at the calendar on the wall with the hot air balloons on it, at my dinosaur models and my sister's ponies and my sister's vampire books, at the picture of a volcano I had painted when I was little last year, which is still up on the fridge. We looked at all those things, and we looked at my dad. We don't, believe any of this, said my sister. Yeah, we don't, I told him. Not a bit of it. Especially not how you saved the world from being remodeled. Or the pirates. Not any of it, I said. My father shrugged and said, well, suit yourselves, he said, but it was all true, and I can prove it. How? Yes, how? Asked my little sister. Well, said my dad, putting it down on the kitchen table, here's the milk. And he went back to reading his paper. What's on the bottom of the milk, guys? What do you see? All right, that is the end of our story, my friends. Thanks for getting together with me. I hope you enjoyed the story. I can't tell you how much I miss you guys and how much I wish we were actually reading this together. But I know that we will have exciting stories that we will read next year when you guys are all in grade 4. Hope to see you soon, guys. See ya.